Listen, Moron, I'm dumping you for someone better. We're done. My fiancée called off our wedding to jet off to Paris with her wealthy ex. So I invited her bridesmaid on the same trip, and she saw us together at the hotel bar. My fiancée didn't just break my heart. She shattered it into a million pieces with a single text message, just 6 weeks before our wedding. She called off everything, saying she'd found something better, and then literally flew off to Paris with her ex. But what she didn't know was that I had a plane ticket too, and a plan that would make her perfect Parisian getaway her worst nightmare. What would you do if that happened to you? Okay, so yeah, you're hearing this from a guy who never thought he'd be spilling his guts about relationship drama online. But trust me, what happened? You just can't make this stuff up. It's been 3 weeks since my entire world imploded. And honestly, I'm still trying to piece it back together. Melissa, my fiancée, scratch that, ex-fiancé, and we were together for 2.5 years. Engaged for 8 of those. I'm 29. She's 27. It all felt so real, so permanent. I met Melissa at my friend Connor's housewarming party. And man, she was stunning. Confident, charismatic, the kind of woman who just pulled everyone in. The first year with her, it was like living in a rom-com. She was thoughtful, always planning these incredible, elaborate dates. She made me feel special. Like I was the one she picked out of a crowd of guys who were clearly falling over themselves for her. And believe me, there was always a crowd. But there was this one thing, this constant shadow. Trevor, her ex. He was a successful real estate developer, treated her like a queen, dated for 3 years, a tragic love story where distance just tore them apart. That's how she told it, anyway. And oh, she loved to bring him up. Trevor always said I had the best taste in restaurants. She'd sigh when we were deciding where to eat. Or, Trevor taught me how to wine taste. He had such a sophisticated palate. It was always Trevor this, Trevor that. I mean, seriously, when I finally asked her why he came up so often, she got defensive. He was a huge part of my life for 3 years, Jake. I can't pretend that didn't happen. Besides, you're nothing like him, so I don't know why you feel threatened. The way she said nothing like him, it wasn't reassuring. It felt like I was the consolation prize, like she was settling, but I pushed it down. Convinced myself she meant it in a good way. Trevor was her past. I was her future. Boy, was I wrong. So wrong. About a year into our relationship, Melissa's friend, Chloe, started acting a little off. Chloe was Melissa's college roommate, completely down to earth, not like the rest of Melissa's social media perfect friends. Chloe was real, and she was going to be the maid of honor, which made perfect sense. One night, at Melissa's birthday party, while Melissa was in the restroom, Chloe leaned over to me. Jake, you're a really good guy, she said, her expression so awkward it made my stomach clench. I just want you to know that. I just said, thanks, Chloe. You're a good friend to Mel. She hesitated for a beat, then added, just be careful. Sometimes Melissa doesn't realize what she has until it's gone. Before I could even process what she meant, Melissa was back, and the moment was gone. But that comment, it haunted me. Over the next few months, I'd catch Chloe watching Melissa with this worried frown, especially when Melissa would get texts that made her secretly, almost guiltily, smile. Then came the engagement. I proposed in October, on a romantic weekend trip to Napa. I dropped 3 months' salary on that ring, a 2-carat princess cut diamond in platinum, exactly what Melissa had been not so subtly hinting at for months. The proposal itself was at this fancy restaurant she loved. I got down on one knee. She cried. She said yes. Pure movie moment, right? Except later, I overheard her on the phone with her sister. It's not exactly what I envisioned, she whispered, but it's sweet. Not exactly what I envisioned. That should have been the second massive red flag waving right in my face. Wedding planning started immediately. And Melissa, she attacked it with this intense, almost terrifying energy. Pinterest boards for everything. Spreadsheets comparing every vendor. A timeline so detailed it looked like a military operation. The date was set, June 15th, at this stunning vineyard an hour outside the city. The cost? Oh, just a casual $45,000. More money than I ever thought I'd spend on one day. But Melissa insisted, we only get married once. Jake, it has to be perfect. And of course, even then, Trevor found his way into the conversation. Trevor's cousin got married at a country club, she'd say as we toured venues. It was beautiful, but a bit too traditional. I want something more unique, you know. Seriously, even our wedding planning was filtered through the lens of him. We had 150 people on the guest list. Pretty standard. But Melissa, she just couldn't stop comparing our wedding to everyone else's. Sarah's wedding last year was at the Ritz-Carlton, she'd sigh, reviewing menus. Her parents spent $60,000 on just the reception. But I guess this will be fine, too. It felt like a constant judgment. I was working extra shifts, pulling freelance web development gigs on weekends just to keep up. My parents, bless them, offered to contribute, but Melissa actually turned them down. Said she didn't want them to feel obligated. Looking back, I think she was just embarrassed. Embarrassed their honest, modest contribution wouldn't measure up to her family's, or was, to Trevor's imaginary standards. Then, just 3 months before the wedding, he came back. Trevor. Melissa dropped it so casually one night while I was cooking, trying desperately not to bane the chicken. Oh, by the way, Trevor's back. He bought some properties downtown, opening a development firm here. I just mumbled, that's nice. Then she added, yeah, we should all hang out sometime. You'd like him. He's really down to earth despite his success. My head snapped up. Hang out with your ex? Jake, we're adults, she said, almost annoyed. He's going to be in town. We have mutual friends. It would be weird to avoid him. That weekend, we met Trevor, though met is a generous term. Melissa suggested this specific coffee shop across town I'd never heard her mention. And surprise, Trevor was already there. He was exactly as I'd pictured. Tall, perfectly coiffed hair, a casual outfit that probably cost more than my rent. He gave me this confident handshake, a big, practiced smile, and immediately launched into talking about his amazing new ventures. He was the type of guy who called everyone man in that condescending way. So, you're the lucky guy, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. Mel always said she wanted to settle down someday. Settle down. Not find love. Not find her person. Just settle down. Like getting married was just another checkbox on a to-do list. Melissa, meanwhile, was practically glowing, laughing at his every joke, touching his arm as he spoke. I felt utterly, completely invisible. After an hour of listening to Trevor talk about his amazing, incredible life, we finally left. In the car, Melissa was eerily quiet. He seems nice, I offered. Yeah, he is. I'm glad to see him doing so well, she replied, a strange wistfulness in her voice. That night, I saw her on her phone more than usual. When I asked who she was talking to, she just said, oh, just catching up with some people, and quickly put it away. But I was fast enough. I saw the name on the screen. Trevor. Over the next month, everything changed. Melissa started staying longer at work, had more girls' nights, and was totally distracted whenever we talked. Wedding planning, which had been her obsession, suddenly took a backseat. If I asked about confirming vendors or finalizing details, she'd just wave me off. We have time, Jake. It's almost all done anyway. But then I called the catering service to confirm our menu tasting. They told me Melissa had cancelled it. When I confronted her, she promised to reschedule. She never did. That's when my phone rang. It was Chloe. Jake, can we meet for coffee? There's something I need to tell you. A cold knot twisted in my stomach. Is everything okay? Is Melissa okay? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Just meet me tomorrow after work. I didn't sleep a wink that night. I met Chloe at a Starbucks near her hospital. She looked utterly drained. Stressed. I should have told you something sooner, she started, her voice heavy with guilt. I hoped Melissa would come to her senses, but she's just not thinking clearly. My blood ran cold. What's going on? Chloe pulled out her phone, scrolled, and handed it to me. What I saw sent a jolt of ice through my veins. Texts, conversations between her and Melissa, spanning the last 3 weeks. My heart sank. Melissa, I saw Trevor today. God, he looks amazing. Melissa, we got coffee yesterday, just as friends, but it felt like before. Melissa, I think I made a mistake letting him go. Jake's sweet, but he's just not, you know. Melissa, Trevor asked me if I was happy. I couldn't answer him. Melissa, I keep thinking about what my life would be like if I'd moved to Chicago with him. Chloe, Mel, you're getting married in 2 months to a good man who loves you. Melissa, what if I'm settling? What if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life? My hands were shaking as I put the phone down. Jake, I'm so sorry, Chloe whispered. I've been trying to talk sense into her, but she won't listen. She's been needing Trevor constantly, says they are just friends. But yesterday, she asked me what I thought about canceling the wedding. Not postponing, canceling. Chloe told me Trevor had told Melissa he never should have left her, that seeing her again made him realize what he'd lost. I felt a wave of nausea. Is she going to leave me? I asked, my voice cracking. I don't know. Maybe. She's confused, making terrible decisions. But Jake, Chloe said, looking me straight in the eye, you deserve better than someone who isn't sure about you. Chloe was right. I knew it in my gut. But I was 2 months away from marrying the woman I thought was the love of my life. I couldn't just give up. Not yet. That night, I confronted Melissa. I told her I knew about Trevor, about Chloe's worries, about how she was pulling away from me, from our wedding. Her response? Not what I expected. Chloe had no right to show you my private messages, she snapped, her voice ice cold. And yes, I've been spending time with Trevor. We have a lot of history, and I'm trying to process that before I get married. Process what? I thought, my mind reeling. If I'm making the right decision. Those words hit me like a physical punch. The right decision, Melissa. We engaged. We've been planning this for 8 months. And maybe it was a mistake, she continued, her voice barely a whisper. Maybe I said yes because I was scared of being alone, not because I was sure about us. I just stayed at her. Are you serious? I think we should postpone the wedding, she said, unable to meet my eyes. Postpone, or cancel it. She shrugged. I don't know. I need time to figure things out. That was Thursday night. I spent Friday and the entire weekend at work, completely numb, unable to focus. Monday and Tuesday, I just called in sick. I couldn't face anyone. Melissa, meanwhile, had gone to her sister's, needing space to think. 6 weeks. 6 weeks until our wedding. Vendors were expecting final payments. My family was booking hotels. Her family was flying in from 3 different states. And she needed space to decide if she wanted to marry me. Then, Wednesday morning, my phone vibrated. A text. From Melissa. I braced myself. An apology, maybe? A request to talk. What I got instead was this. Hey, Jake. I've made a decision. I'm sorry. Well, not really. I found something better. Trevor surprised me with a trip to Paris. First class, 5-star hotel, all-inclusive. Finally, someone who can show me the world the way I desire to see it. The wedding's cancelled. Obviously, you can take care of cancelling everything since most of it was your idea anyway. Don't try to contact me. I'll be busy living my best life. Sparkles, I read it once. Then twice. A third time. Before it truly, horrifyingly, sank in. She had cancelled our wedding. Via text. With a sparkle emoji. After 2.5 years together. 8 months engaged. 6 weeks before the actual wedding day. She dumped me with a paragraph that basically said, I'm sorry, but not sorry. I called her. Immediately. Straight to voicemail. I texted her back. My fingers clumsy. Asking, are you serious? No response. I called her sister. Oh, Melissa left for the airport 2 hours ago, she said. 2 hours. That's when something inside me just snapped. It wasn't a blind rage. No. It was a cold, quiet, calculating clarity. She thought she'd found something better. She wanted to see the world the way she deserved it. Fine, I thought. Fine. I'm going to show her exactly what she deserves. First call, Chloe. She picked up on the first ring. Oh my God, Jake, she whispered. I heard. I'm so sorry. I can't believe she just left like that. Chloe, I said, my voice steady. I need to ask you something. Do you have any vacation days available? What? Yeah. I have 2 weeks saved up. Why? How would you like a trip to Paris? Silence on the other end. Then, Jake, what in the world are you thinking? I'm thinking Melissa wanted to see Paris with someone who could show her the world. And I'm thinking you've been a better friend to me in the last month than she has in 2 years. Want to help me teach a lesson? Another pause. Then, what kind of lesson? I laid out my plan. The same hotel Melissa was staying at. I knew because she'd already posted it on Instagram, tagging Trevor, bragging about her first-class flight and all the luxury. The same dates. The same restaurants I'd spent months researching for our trip. Everything she thought would be her perfect, romantic getaway with Trevor, I would do. With the only person who had been honest with me through this entire mess. That's pretty ruthless, Chloe finally said. She cancelled our wedding via text, Chloe, with a sparkle emoji. I think I'm allowed to be a little ruthless. Chloe was silent for a moment. Then, she started to laugh. A full, joyful, slightly maniacal laugh. You know what? Yes. Absolutely yes. Melissa needs a reality check, and I am so tired of watching her treat good people badly. Let's do it. That very afternoon, I took Melissa's precious 2-carat diamond ring to 3 different jewelers. The highest offer, $8,200. More than enough to book the exact same Parisian adventure Melissa was on. I spent hours, meticulously researching everything. Found the hotel, Hotel de l'Olivier, a boutique gem in the 2nd arrondissement. Booked the identical room she'd shown in her photos. Tracked down every restaurant she'd tagged in her stories and made reservations. Even the specific wine tour she'd raved about, and the shopping district she'd planned to hit. Chloe was incredible through it all. Not only did she agree to come, but she helped organize everything. Turns out she spoke pretty decent French from college and had always dreamed of Paris but never had the chance. This wasn't some romantic getaway. We were friends, on a mission. She was helping me make a point, and in return, she'd get her dream vacation. You know, Chloe said, a glint in her eye as we booked our flights. She's going to lose her mind when she finds out. That's the idea, I replied, a grim satisfaction spreading through me. Good. She deserves it. The way she's talked about you, about Trevor, about everything. Someone needs to show her that actions have consequences. We flew out that Saturday, just 3 days after Melissa had ditched me. I called my boss, gave him the bare-bones version of events, and burned through all my accrued vacation. Chloe did the same. We were set for 6 days in Paris, Tuesday to Sunday. The The flight itself? Surreal. I kept pinching myself, thinking this had to be a dream. My fiancée had left me for her ex, and I was flying to Paris with her maid of honor to teach her a lesson. Yet, there I was, in seat 12A, Chloe beside me, engrossed in a French guidebook, mapping out our adventures. Mid-flight, she looked up. You know, Chloe mused, I've been thinking about what Melissa said in her text, about you taking care of canceling the wedding. Yeah. I prompted, a grin playing on my lips. What about it? Did you actually cancel everything? I just smiled. I cancelled my stuff, the band, the photographer, my tux rental. I leaned in conspiratorially. I figured if she wanted to cancel our entire future via text, she could handle explaining to the vendors why they weren't getting paid. Chloe's eyes widened. Jake, the catering alone was going to be $8,000. Not my problem anymore. The flowers were $3,000. Also, not my problem. Her dress was $4,000, and she was supposed to pick it up this week. Definitely not my problem. Chloe dissolved into peals of laughter. Oh my God, she gasped. She's going to come back from Paris to total chaos. Vendors hounding her, her family demanding answers. Her dress probably sold to someone else. She wiped a tear from her eye. Maybe she should have thought about that before leaving you via text and running off with her ex. Huh. We landed in Paris on Tuesday morning. The hotel? Even more stunning than Melissa's Instagram photos. Our rooms on the 4th floor overlooked a beautiful interior garden. Chloe was practically buzzing with excitement. She'd never been to Europe, and she was snapping pictures of everything. I can't believe I'm here, she whispered as we walked through the opulent lobby. I've wanted to take this trip since college, but I never had anyone to go with, or the money. Well, I said, a dry smile touching my lips, thank Melissa's engagement ring. She ended up paying for this vacation. That first day was incredible. We strolled along the Seine, visited Notre Dame, still under restoration, but majestic. We ate lunch at a tiny outdoor cafe in the Latin Quarter. Chloe was the perfect travel companion. Enthusiastic, adventurous, and more importantly, she kept me from drowning in self-pity. You know what I keep thinking about, she said over dinner at L'Ambroisie, one of the restaurants Melissa had booked. Melissa has no idea who she really is. What do you mean? I asked. She thinks she's sophisticated, cosmopolitan, that she deserves the best in life, Chloe explained, gesturing around the beautiful room. But look at us. This isn't about money. It's about appreciating experiences, being present, enjoying the moment. You're doing it. I'm doing it. But I guarantee Melissa is spending her entire trip comparing everything to her vision board, posting envy-inducing pictures, and completely missing out on the actual experience because she's too busy pretending to live it. And she wasn't wrong. I'd been checking Melissa's Instagram occasionally. Every post was about luxury, price tags, exclusivity, champagne glasses, hotel robes, designer shopping bags. Nothing about the city itself. No culture, no authentic food, no people. Meanwhile, Chloe documented everything with this genuine, infectious joy. Photos of street musicians, quirky architectural details, even the ridiculous face I made trying escargots for the first time. Real moments, not performances. Wednesday was spent at the Louvre and strolling through the Tuileries gardens. Thursday was Versailles, majestic and sprawling. Friday, we did that wine tour Melissa had boasted about. Each day was better than the last. I found myself laughing, truly laughing, more than I had in months. I felt lighter, happier, more relaxed than I could remember, even from before everything fell apart with Melissa. Then, on Thursday night, as we walked back to the hotel after dinner, Chloe dropped a bombshell. I have a confession, she said, her voice soft. I've had a huge crush on you since the day Melissa introduced us. I stopped dead in my tracks. Chloe. Don't worry, she quickly interjected, her cheeks flushing. I'm not trying to be a replacement or take advantage of anything. I just thought you should know. You're kind, thoughtful, funny when you're not stressed about Melissa's drama. Any woman would be lucky to have you. Melissa's an idiot for not seeing it. We stood there, in the middle of a quiet Parisian street, just looking at each other. For a moment, my mind raced. What if I'd met Chloe first? What if I'd never been sucked into Melissa's orbit of drama and manipulation? For what it's worth, I finally said, if things were different, if the timing was different. I know, she interrupted, a gentle smile playing on her lips. And that's okay. We're friends on an amazing trip now. That's enough. But something had shifted between us. It wasn't explicitly romantic. Not yet. But a deeper connection. We'd always gotten along. But now, I saw her. Really saw her. Not just Melissa's friend. And I really, really liked what I saw. On Friday night, Chloe made the post that changed everything. We'd had dinner at the restaurant Melissa was most excited about. The food, the wine, everything was just sublime. We talked and laughed for 3 hours straight. Chloe even convinced me to try the cheese board, which, honestly, I'd always been intimidated by. She snapped a photo of me making this ridiculous face after trying a particularly strong one. I'm uploading this, she declared, showing me. I look awful. I protested. No, she said softly. You look happy. Truly happy. When was the last time you looked like that in a picture with Melissa? She was right. Most pictures with Melissa were staged, artificial. This was just me, being myself. She uploaded it to Instagram with a caption that, looking back, was absolutely perfect. Sometimes the best adventures happen when you least expect them. Thanks for showing me Paris, Jake. Here's to friends who become family, and experiences that remind us what joy is. Red Heart Hash, she tagged me. She added our location. Nothing explicitly romantic, but intimate enough that anyone seeing it would definitely wonder what was going on. The reaction was immediate. Within minutes, Melissa's friends started commenting. What is this, Jake? Are you guys in Paris? Then, a text from Melissa's sister. Are you in Paris with Chloe right now? I showed it to Chloe. She just grinned. Want to make a real impact? She asked, her eyes sparkling mischievously. What do you have in mind? Melissa just uploaded a story, she said, her voice dropping, from her hotel room. The same hotel we're at. She's 3 floors down. My blood ran cold. She's here? Right now. Yep. And she has no idea we are. Chloe pulled up Melissa's story. It was a picture of her and Trevor, in bathrobes, champagne glasses clinking. Caption, living like kings with my king. Champagne glasses, Jesus. I muttered. She's really going all out with this performance. Your move, Jake, Chloe said, her gaze steady. We can stay out of it, enjoy the rest of the trip quietly. Or, we go down to the hotel bar and see what happens. I thought about it for exactly 30 seconds. Let's see what happens. The hotel bar was on the ground floor, all elegant, dim lighting. We slipped in around 9 p.m. and snagged a table overlooking the entrance. I was nervous as hell, but underneath it all, a strange, electric excitement. After days of seeing Melissa's perfectly curated posts, I was ready for a dose of reality, and we didn't have to wait long. Around 9:30, they walked in. Melissa and Trevor. She was impeccable. Designer dress, flawless makeup, expensive jewelry. Trevor in a suit that probably cost more than my annual salary. They looked like they'd stepped right out of a fashion magazine. But as they got closer, their voices carried. And it was not a romantic conversation. I'm just saying this place is fine, Trevor was whining. But it's no Ritz. My ex, Sarah, and I stayed the Ritz last year. Much better service. Well, I'm sorry if my choices don't meet your standards, Melissa retorted, her voice dripping with irritation. Maybe if you'd given me more than 3 days' notice, I could have booked something more suitable. I thought you'd be grateful. Most women would kill for a trip like this. Most women haven't dated you before, or learned how much your promises are really worth. OOF, trouble in paradise. Much? They sat at the bar, not at a private table. Even from a distance, the tension between them was palpable. Melissa was constantly on her phone, snapping photos, trying to find that perfect angle for her stories. Trevor just looked bored, scanning the room, clearly expecting something more interesting. That's when Melissa saw me. Her face. Oh, her face. It cycled through about 5 different emotions in 3 seconds flat. Confusion, recognition, shock, pure anger, and then something that looked like utter panic. She hissed something to Trevor, who slowly turned his head towards our table. His face was priceless, like his brain just couldn't compute what his eyes were seeing. Melissa stood up abruptly, stalking towards us. Trevor followed, visibly uncomfortable, shoulders hunched. Jake! Melissa spat, her voice a strained whisper, tight and controlled, but her eyes were absolutely burning with fury. What are you doing here? Having a drink with a friend, I replied, my voice steady, annoyingly calm. Beautiful city. Thanks for the recommendation. Her furious gaze snapped to Chloe, who was just calmly sipping her wine, completely serene. Chloe, I should have known you'd be behind something like this. Something like what? Chloe asked, wide-eyed and innocent. You know exactly what this looks like. Melissa hissed. It looks like 2 people enjoying Paris. What do you see? Chloe shot back, her jaw tightening. Melissa turned back to me, her voice trembling with rage. This is pathetic. Jake, following me to Paris? Seriously. I couldn't help it. I actually laughed. Following you, Melissa? You left me via text 3 days ago. Do you honestly think I organized an international trip in 3 days just to follow you? Give me a little more credit. Trevor finally chimed in. Look, I don't know what game you're playing, but... I cut him off, standing up, my voice firm. I'm not playing anything. I booked a trip to Paris with a friend. If it turns out you're in the same city, well, that's just a coincidence, isn't it? Are you here to spy on me? Melissa hissed. To try and win me back? Or make me jealous? Or something equally pathetic? Chloe gently placed her glass down. Melissa, she said, her voice firm, you left him via text to run off with your ex. You have no right to be angry that he's moving on. Moving on with my maid of honor. Melissa shrieked. Ex-maid of honor, Chloe corrected, her voice chillingly calm. No wedding anymore, remember? That's when I saw Melissa's perfect facade crack. She was losing control. Jake, she said, her voice suddenly softer, pleading, almost like the woman I once fell in love with. Can we talk? Privately. I glanced at Chloe, who gave a small, encouraging nod. I'll be right here. Melissa pulled me away to a quiet corner of the bar. Jake, I made a mistake, she began, tears welling in her eyes. I panicked. I got scared about the wedding, about the commitment. And when Trevor offered this trip, it felt like a sign. I needed to explore my options before settling. Before settling. I repeated, my voice flat, cold. That's what marrying me was to you? Settling. No, I didn't mean it like that, she cried. I meant settling into marriage, into being a wife. And how's that exploration going, Mel? Her face twisted. It's not what I thought. Trevor isn't the same person he was 3 years ago. Or maybe I'm not. We've been fighting since we arrived. He's selfish, demanding. Nothing is ever enough. And now you want to come back to your backup plan. You're not a backup plan. You're stable, reliable, safe. Safe. Each word was a dagger. I don't mean it like that. I mean, you're good for me. You balance me. With Trevor, everything's drama and chaos, and I never know where I stand. Melissa, I said, my voice rising, cutting her off. You cancelled our wedding via text. You said you'd found something better. You posted pictures with another man, calling him your king. Did you really think I was going to wait around for you to decide I was good enough? I hoped, she choked out, tears streaming. I thought if you saw how wrong I was. Yes, I see, I finished, my voice like ice. That's why I'm here, with someone who actually values me. Her eyes flared with a desperate fury. Chloe's just using you to get back at me. You know she's always been jealous of me, right? She's always wanted what I have. Correction, I shot back, what you had. And honestly, Melissa, if Chloe had wanted what you had, she could have told me about your affair with Trevor months ago instead of trying to protect you. It wasn't an affair, she shrieked. We weren't sleeping together. But you were emotionally cheating on me, and you were planning to leave me. That's enough. She was truly sobbing now, mascara streaking down her perfectly made-up face. Her flawless Instagram image, utterly in tatters. Please, Jake, please, she whimpered. Can we go somewhere and talk? Talk for real. I know I messed up, but maybe we can fix it. I glanced over at our table. Chloe was on her phone, but her gaze kept flicking to me, concern etched on her face. Then I looked towards the bar. Trevor was already, blatantly, flirting with the waitress, as if his king had never been interrupted. No, Mel, I said, my voice final. We can't fix it. You made your decision when you sent that text. You made it again when you got on that plane with him. You can't just unmake it because things didn't go the way you expected. So what? She screamed. Are you going to date Chloe now? My best friend. I'm going to do what makes me happy, I said, looking her dead in the eye. And what makes me happy now is being with someone who doesn't see me as a consolation prize. I walked back to the table, my heart lighter than it had been in months. Chloe looked up, a question in her eyes. How'd it go? As you'd imagine. She wants to fix things. I took a sip of my wine, and I told her no. Chloe smiled, a genuine, warm smile. Good. You deserve so much better than someone who treats you like a plan B. We finished our drinks, a comfortable silence settling between us, and headed for the elevator. As we waited, I saw Melissa and Trevor again, still at the bar, still arguing. She was gesturing furiously, almost hysterically. He was scrolling on his phone, completely disengaged. Even from a distance, it was painfully obvious their romantic getaway was spiraling. The elevator doors opened, and we stepped inside. Just before they closed, I caught a final glimpse of Melissa. She was looking at us, her face a mask of pure devastation. For a split second, a flicker of pity stayed in me. Almost. The next morning, Saturday, was our last full day in Paris. Chloe and I had planned to visit Montmartre and the Sacré-Cœur. We were having breakfast in the hotel restaurant when suddenly, Trevor approached our table. Excuse me, he said, visibly uncomfortable, avoiding eye contact. Can I talk to you for a moment? I looked at Chloe. She just shrugged. Sure. Trevor pulled up an empty chair. Look, he started. I wanted to apologize for the situation. I didn't know Melissa was engaged when I contacted her. That was interesting. She didn't mention the wedding? At all. I asked. No, he admitted. Not until after I'd already booked the trip. She told me you two were having problems, that she was having doubts. I honestly thought she was single. It all clicked. Melissa had lied to him too, making him believe our relationship was already dead. Where's Melissa now? I asked. She's having a really bad time, Trevor confessed. Last night, she saw your friend's post on Instagram and just fell apart. She's been crying all morning, saying she made the biggest mistake of her life. Chloe pulled out her phone. Which Instagram post? She showed him our post from the night before, the one with me laughing at the cheese. It had gone viral overnight. Over 200 likes, dozens of comments. All of Melissa's friends, asking questions, some even congratulating us, clearly thinking we made a perfect couple. She's been trying to delete the comments all morning, Trevor continued, looking shell-shocked. But people keep asking about you two. Why was the wedding cancelled? Why are you in Paris together? Melissa couldn't control the narrative. And for someone who built her entire life on social media, losing control of that, devastating. I'm flying back this afternoon, Trevor added, defeated. This whole thing's been a disaster from start to finish. She's not the same person she was 3 years ago, and honestly, neither am I. We're toxic for each other. So, you're just leaving her here? I asked. She has a return ticket for tomorrow, he said, standing up. And honestly, I need space. It's been the worst vacation of my life. When he left, Chloe and I just looked at each other. I almost feel sorry for her, Chloe admitted. Almost, I echoed. Yeah, almost. But then I remember how she treated you. How she talked about you to people. How she left you via text. And it passes. We spent our last day exploring Montmartre, climbing those iconic steps to the Sacré-Cœur, wandering through the Artist Quarter, and having lunch at a tiny bistro with the best French onion soup I've ever tasted. It was perfect. Chloe was perfect. Not perfect as in flawless, but perfect for that moment. Perfect for me. That night, as we were packing our bags for our flight home, there was a knock on my hotel room door. I opened it, and there she was, Melissa, still in her pajamas, hair a mess, face swollen from crying. Jake, please, she whimpered. I know you're angry, but can we talk? Please. Melissa, I said, my voice flat. There's nothing to talk about. There's everything to talk about. I made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. I was scared. I panicked. And I hurt you in the worst possible way. But I love you. I've always loved you. You have a very peculiar way of showing it, I retorted. I know I messed up. But look around, she said, sweeping her arm dramatically at the luxurious Parisian hotel hallway. This was supposed to be our trip. These were supposed to be our memories. We planned it together. We researched the restaurants, picked the hotels. And now you're here with Trevor, I finished, because you chose to be here with him instead of me. I chose wrong. I know that now. Trevor and I, we have nothing to do with each other. We bring out the worst in each other. But you and I, we're good together. We balance each other. We were good together, Mel. Past tense. You ended that when you sent me a text canceling our wedding. I can fix it. We can fix it. We can get married next month. Or next year. Whenever you want. I'll do whatever it takes to make amends. I looked at her, standing there in that beautiful Parisian hotel hallway, desperate, broken, finally understanding the magnitude of what she'd lost. And I felt nothing. Not anger. Not love. Not even pity. Just an emptiness where those feelings used to be. Nothing. Melissa, I said, my voice quiet, almost mournful. Even if I could forgive you for how you ended things, I can't forget what you said. You said you'd found something better. You called me pathetic. You treated our entire relationship as if it was disposable. I was wrong. I was so wrong, she wailed. Yes, I agreed, a cold, hard truth in my voice. You were. But more than that, you showed me who you really are. Someone who believes love is about finding the best available option. Someone who sees relationships as transactions. Someone who values what others think more than what truly makes her happy. That's not true. Isn't it? Have you been more worried about how all this looks on social media than about the real people you've hurt? You keep talking about what you deserve, what's owed to you, what's good enough for you. When was the last time you asked yourself what you can give in a relationship instead of just what you can get from it? She just stayed at me, tears streaming. I love you, she whispered. I know you think you love me, I said, shaking my head. But Melissa, you don't know what love is. Love isn't about finding someone who makes you feel special, or important, or envied. It's about finding someone whose happiness you care about more than your own ego. I started to close the door, the finality of the gesture heavy in the air. Wait, she cried, desperation in her voice. Are you in love with Chloe? I paused. Was I? Maybe the seed of something was there. Definitely. But that wasn't the point. I'm in love with the idea of being with someone who chooses me every single day, I told her, my voice strong. Not with someone who keeps me around until something better comes along. This time, I did close the door. Chloe and I flew back to the States on Sunday morning. The flight was quiet, a comfortable silence as we both processed everything. When we landed, she turned to me. So, what now? I don't know, I admitted, a little overwhelmed. I need time to figure out who I am when I'm not trying to be good enough for Melissa. That's fair, Chloe said, her gaze kind. But Jake, you're already enough. Always have been. She was just too caught up in her own drama to see it. 3 weeks later, here I am, sitting in my apartment, typing this out. The place feels different now. Lighter, more like a real home, with nothing of Melissa's left. The fallout from our Paris trip? Exactly what you'd expect. When Melissa got back, she walked into total chaos. Vendors she hadn't paid were hounding her, threatening legal action. Her family was utterly mortified. Her friends, they were asking all sorts of awkward questions about why her ex-maid of honor was posting pictures from Paris with her ex-fiancé. She tried, bless her heart, to control the narrative, uploading long, rambling Instagram stories about going through a difficult time and learning valuable lessons about herself. But the damage was done. Everyone had seen her leave a good man via text to run back to her ex, then watch that relationship implode in real time, while the good man moved on with someone who clearly, genuinely, valued him. That engagement ring money, it covered our entire Paris trip, and there was even some left over. With the rest, I took a long weekend in a wine region with some college friends who were originally coming to my wedding. We had a blast, and not once did anyone mention Melissa. As for Chloe and me, we're taking it slow, very slow. We text every day, grab dinner once or twice a week. She's even helping me redecorate the apartment. Last weekend, we painted the bedroom. We picked a color Melissa would have hated. And you know what? It's perfect. So, that's my story. It's been a wild ride, and honestly, a huge learning experience. But I can't help but wonder, what would you have done in my place? Would you have just let it go? Or would you have found your own way to deliver a little Parisian justice? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious what you guys think.